So my name is Aibo Nokri. I'm a full stack developer. I also embark on different journeys. So, for example, I've also done animations. I also do a bit of front end, back end, and a bit of machine learning as well as DevOps. So anyway, that's it about me. So now let's get to the fun part, which is, oops. So yeah, let's get to the learning part. Okay. So are we all ready? We have our system set up, right? Cool. So now let's go to the basic structure. So just delete everything in your main dot dot. So if you go to, I think you're all familiar with Flutter's folder structure, right? Okay, so if you're not familiar, if you open your Flutter in Visual Studio Code, open your Flutter repo. Okay, everyone's done that, right? You've opened your repos in VS Code, or okay, let's do this. For those of you, okay, go to your folder which houses your Flutter directory. Open your terminal command prompt and type in code space dot. Open your terminal inside your folder and code space dot. Okay. I want to hear a resounding yes. Okay, if you've done that, so that we can know that. Just let us know that we can move on to the next part. When you're done, just raise up your hands while saying done it, done it. Okay. Okay. Can you please check here? Yeah, help each other out. Help each other out. Make new friends by helping each other. Yeah, that's the best way to make friends. Okay, Flutter create app. No, yeah. Have any of you run the Flutter counter app before? Have you created a Flutter app? No, right? Okay, let's do this. Connect your phones, connect your laptop to your mobile phone's hotspot because we need that. Okay, just do that. Okay, now let's go to directory. Okay. I'm gonna place at local disk D. So let's go to Flutter. I have a lot of projects here. Okay, let's just do this. I'm just gonna create a new folder here. And I'm gonna call it maybe test Megdev. Okay, so now let's go to the folder. Now here, who has Windows 10 and who has Windows 11? Windows 10? I have Windows 10. Okay, Windows 11, what you do is you right click and you open the terminal. There should be an option here called open terminal. Done, right? So for Windows 10, what you can do is on top of the navigation bar, you type in CMD and that'll open a terminal, right? So everyone has got that in place, right? Awesome. So now you write Flutter, create, and then you give your name of the app. I'll just write test app here. So you give whatever name you want. You can see, right? Flutter? Yeah. That's okay. I've already created one for you. Just open that one. Yeah, remember the okay, so Flutter create app. Create test app. Keshan, run mana tu? Line out saja run. Okay. Okay, I'm going to press enter, and you can see that saying creating project test app. So right now it's downloading all the dependencies from pop.dev repo. Okay, it should be quite fast. It's not as heavy as npm modules. Anyone of you worked with Node before? npm? Yeah, I think there's a good meme on npm modules. No. Come to Flutter create il template come long create React kalau Flutter create Flutter create test. You give Flutter and then create and then your name of the app. Yeah, name of the app. Yeah, yeah. Long. It's working. Okay, it's done, right? Done. Yeah, some of them not in the group. Yeah, yeah, whatever. You can use any ID of your preference. It's basically the same thing. Done. Okay, okay, okay. Well, just a few tries here and there. Okay. So for those of you who have completed this task, now if you type in dir, you can see all the files or directories, all the subdirectories, right? So now you have your test app directory. So what you need to do is you need to go into that directory. So what you do is you click or you type cd and then test app and then press enter. Right, so now you're in the directory. The next step is now you need to open it in VS Code. So you type code and then dot. Code space dot. That will open your Flutter folder in your VS Code. Try that. See? Done. Done there. Okay. Okay. I think that this is the only hiccup here. Once we get started, it's going to be a good race to the finish. So it will take you to a familiar place, which is your VS Code. Who uses Vim here? Who uses Vim? Okay, no one, right? Okay, so Vim is called the editor of the elites. Most of the elite programmers only use Vim. They don't use their mouse anymore. So you just navigate everything with the keyboard. It's like wow, it's like I don't know, it's like coding ninjas. That's what they call them. I tried Vim before, but I found that my memory is not so good where I'm not able to remember all the shortcut keys. So sometimes I get lost. And I think so you've heard of the meme, how to exit Vim. Yeah, so that's where it comes from. I saw this one meme. This young girl, she started programming and in the end she became quite old and says, how do you exit Vim? So yeah, Vim is good. Okay, shall we move ahead? Awesome. Awesome. Okay, the front row, guys in the back, shall we move forward? No, okay. So you have your counter app. Okay, let's just run everything at once. Who's using emulators? Who's using browsers? Emulators? Who's using emulators? Can I get a show of hands? Okay, who's using Chrome? Who's using the web? Okay, what about the others? What are you using to run the app? Okay, let's just run on the web because that's I guess a little bit easier on the CPU. Let's just run web. I like the new materials tree design. It's quite pleasing. Long. Stay. It's okay. Yes. I hope you guys don't have an early curfew because we're starting at 5, so maybe by 6 or 6:30, hopefully we can wrap this up. By 6, okay, by 6. I'm hearing a lot of groaning, so by 6 again. 6 is all right, right? Okay. Okay, let's just move forward, Shreya. Come on. That's okay.
It's like 30 minutes, 1 hour.
Okay, let's just move ahead. Okay, so I guess I've got reports that some of the people are downloading Android Studio. So that's a bit, that's a lot to download at once. Do any of you have pen drives? Because I have the Android Studio here, along with the Flutter SDK. Bring it to me. While they are still downloading, we'll move on because I guess I think so time is of the essence here. So let's run your app. Run your app either through Chrome or on your Android emulator. So what you do is you can choose. If you look at the bottom of your VS Code, there's an option here we can choose. You click on it. I think so by default it will be Chrome. So you click on it and choose Chrome. That's okay. Yeah, you can still run. You can choose from the top Android Studio. You see that main, and you have a platform there. So choose, I don't know, choose an emulator if you want. Choose a web also. Oh, you have your phone, then that's better. Oh, he has a hat. So bad, man. Okay, this one. Just already. Yeah. We're gonna move forward. So anyway, your apps are running, right? Either on web or emulators. Okay, we'll move forward from this. Let me just copy these files and then we're going to move forward. Okay. So now let's get to the good stuff. So I think so you're quite familiar with a little bit familiar, I guess, with how Flutter works, right? So you have your stateless widget and you have your stateful widget. So in this example here, a counter app. So for counter, what do you need? Do you need stateful or stateless widget? Think about it. If I click on this button here, right? Yeah, stateful. Why? Because you have state which is changing. Stateless widgets are only used for just rendering your UI. Okay, it doesn't need state. It doesn't need to preserve the state. For example, if I create this counter button using a stateless widget, the first hurdle I will encounter is not being able to use it in it or the set state method, because the set state method lives only on the stateful widget, right? Set state. What is set state? Set state is basically a function which you can use to re-render your app with a new state. Okay, because if you don't use set state, if you change a value maybe from 1 to 2, nothing happens. Why? Because the UI is not getting refreshed. But when you press on set state, it takes a new value and it pushes it to the screen. Okay, so let's take a look on how stateless works. So you can see here, right? Stateless and a stateful widget. So a stateless widget has only a constructor and a build. So what is a constructor actually? Okay, that's a bit we'll talk about later. Build is where you run your UI. Okay, this is where you render your UI. This function has all the UI stuff which is being pushed to your phone screen. If you look at stateless, it has only constructor and build. But if you look at stateful widget, it has a constructor, it has a create state, init state, and then build. Okay, So what does create state do? So when you define a variable, okay, maybe equal to 1, it creates that statement. So it knows that, okay, so it says, hey, this developer is creating a variable and storing 1. So keep that in mind. Remember that. Okay. Now init state. Init state happens when your app has we call mounting has okay, this mounting is a bit complicated, but when it's almost ready to render the UI. Okay, let's make it simpler. When it's almost rendered to the UI, it calls the init state. After calling init state, then it calls your UI, it builds the UI, it renders the UI. Remember the steps. Okay, this is the app lifecycle for basic Flutter app. First is a constructor, then your create state, and then init state, and finally it renders your UI. Always remember that UI is rendered after init state. Okay. Now if you have a set state function there, right? So when you click on set state, what does it call directly? Build. So as I said before, build does what? What does your build function do? Renders the UI, exactly. So you see, right? Set state renders the UI. So okay. So we got a hang of it, right? Now we're gonna move on. Okay, I won't show you this counter app example. Okay, you can check it out for yourself. Now let's just delete this. Yeah. Let's just destroy everything here. Completely delete everything except for your main function. Yeah, that's the first step. The first step to being great is just delete your entire code base. Yeah, yeah. Yeah, yeah. Okay, right? So everyone's done, right? Everyone's deleted the code. Okay. 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 Just give me the hands. Give me a thumbs up. Okay, cool. Awesome. Front row's done. Oh, by the way, don't forget to take your stickers later. Okay, when you're done with the session, forget your stickers. Okay. Okay, so short intro about the main function. Who here knows Java? A little bit Java, right? So as you all know, Dart. Okay, when if Java and JavaScript are a couple and they have a baby, it'll be Dart. Yeah. So that's where Dart. Fun fact: Dart was initially created to rival JavaScript at Google. Yeah, so Dart was actually built with mind to compile and compete with JavaScript. But then, okay, thank you so much, Mark. So in Java, your main entry point is your main function, right? So I think so. I can empathize with Java developers because there's a lot of boilerplate code, right? Even your main functions like what? Public, static, void, main, string, array, just. Oh man, takes me back to those days. And now I can type public, static, void, main without looking at the keyboard. I'm so it has become, I don't know, it's like it's embedded in my mind. So if you look at Dart, it has a very simple syntax, right? It's just void main. So it becomes pretty easy, right? So this is your starting point, okay? This is the entry point for your Flutter app. And we also have your run app function. So this will run your Flutter app. So now my app, what's this? It either takes a stateless or stateful widget. Okay, my app is either stateful or stateless. So for this example, let us create, because why? Will we need state in our meme showcase app? Think about it. Will we need state or will we don't need state? We won't need state. Yeah, that's true. But if you think about it, we're pulling from an API. So yeah. If we're pulling data from an API, and then we get the data, we need to store that somewhere, right? So we need what again? What do we need? State. And what widget is that? Yes, awesome. Okay, good. We're on the right track. I think this will be done by 5:30. So how do we create a stateful widget in Flutter? We have a shortcut key. Okay, this is called, you create STF. So that creates your stateful widget. Okay, right. So now we give the name my app. This is your entry point. Okay, it's not your home page. It's not your detail page. It's just your entry point. So we'll just name it my app. Okay, let's see if you're done. Thumbs up when you're done. Okay, awesome. Okay, so again, okay, just undo. So again, how do we get the stateful? STF, stateful. Okay, this is called code snippets. This is what it's called code snippet, and you press and enter, it will generate the boilerplate code for you. So my app again, my app. Yeah. issue. Okay, Amma. Where's that? Okay. Everyone's stateful. Or you can create from scratch. If your code snippets have not been enabled, you can just code the stateful widget. So stateless, when are stateless widgets important? Stateless widgets are important when you have something which doesn't change. Okay, for example, like a logo that doesn't change, right? And so you don't want the complexity of a stateful, so you use stateless. Okay, maybe for some, if you want, for example, like rendering rendering a footer, rendering a header, those are mostly static; they don't change. So that's where stateless comes in.
What is the shortcut for the stateless?
It's STL. Yeah, stateful is STF. Okay, STL. Fun fact about VS Code: you can use your own. You can modify your code snippets. Okay, you can have your own custom code snippets. So, for example, if you're into Java and use a lot of that public string functions, wait for them. Done.
Quick question: why does that
I think so because you can Google template for stateful widget online as well. You can do that. Okay, okay. Okay, so everything's done. Okay, okay. Now play a few, sir. Play a few up to this point. Wait. Play a few up to this point. Tunggu kopi bisa. Soft copy. Je peux l'être un tout petit peu après. Une pause à chier. Now sini baru dapat cara API and render them to the app. So now, who has heard of APIs? Do you know what they mean? APIs. I think so. You've heard the term being thrown around right here and there, APIs, but nobody knows exactly what it means, right? It sounds so high level. Yes, that's it exactly. Application programming interface. Essentially, it's just a fancy name of just saying it's a kind of data which is being sent from the client to the backend or to the backend to the client. So it's data being used to it's data we need to communicate between the client and the backend. Okay, it's just a communication tool. It's just communication data format. So let's see here. What is an API? Okay, so REST APIs. So I think so. Let's look at an example of how a REST API looks like. Okay, here, so we'll be using this meme API. Okay, this API pulls memes from the Reddit API. Let's take a look of how the data format looks like. If I just paste this API here. As you can see, so this is called JSON. Okay, I'll go more detail to that, but I just want to show you what REST APIs are. Okay, if you look at the backend, that's the kitchen, right? Then the front end is your very well polished front end, and your APIs are your waiters. It's the route from the kitchen to the restaurant, right? So if you look at the kitchen, any one of you have done any backend development here? So it's kind of chaotic, right? So you all understand how this backend sometimes can be a mess like this, but your front end or your restaurant has to be polished so that customer will be stocked into your app. Yeah, exactly. You cannot lose. Yes, exactly. There's that eye candy. There's that, okay, this website feels so good, but in the backend is chaos. So that is what a backend or API is. Think of it as as restaurant, the kitchen, and the waiters. Okay, you right? That's fine, right? Okay, so now let's go to JSON. So JSON, any of you know what it means? What is the full form of JSON? So it means JavaScript Object Notation. Okay, just another fancy name. Okay, I don't know why we have all these complicated names, but essentially just means it's a data structure or data format whereby we can send data between the client to the backend or from the backend to the client. So if you look at this format here, JSON starts with curly brackets, braces, and inside here you have posts and then this value here. So this is called a key and this is called a value. Okay, and if you want to access a value, you use the key. Okay, so let's take an example. Let's take an example here. Let me just write down. Okay, I have a JSON. Let's just write maybe. The JSON starts with what? Curly braces. Exactly. Okay, strings keys are our strings. Your values could be any format: boolean, integer, or string. So let's just go with, okay, let's just create one and maybe age. Okay, I'll not give age. I don't want you all to know my age. Okay, let's just use address. Address. And here we have, let's say, JR for my life. We'll have pin code as well. So I can show you integers. So 7793002. Right. So this is an example of a JSON. Now, what data type is IBOR? What data type is IBOR? String. What data type is JR? What data type is that pin code? Yeah, number, right? Integer or number, whatever. So how do I want to get only IBOR? How do I do that? Yeah, use the key. So we first call the variable. Right? So this JSON is stored in which variable? What is the variable name for this JSON? No, that's actually a keyword. Okay, I will show you the difference between final and const later. But the variable name is JSON. So I could maybe change this to as well, just like boxes. You can place items inside those boxes. So similarly, Apple is a box. whose name is Apple, and it stores JSON, right? So okay, so Apple. Now I want to get IBOR. So Apple. Who knows JavaScript here? Nobody right here. Okay, so in Dart, let's just focus on Dart. Okay, if you want to access a key, use the curly bracket and you give the name of the key here. So you all get a hang of it, right? So that's JSON. Very simple, nothing too complex, right? So again, who's this actor? No, it's JSON Statham. Okay, so just remember, JSON Statham is always inside curly brackets. So, okay, remember that. So I guess you're all clear with JSON Statham, right? JSON. Okay, cool. So now let's actually get to the more complicated stuff, which is synchronous versus asynchronous programming. Okay. So who has heard of that term, synchronous and asynchronous? It's okay, it's okay. I won't ask questions, I just want yes or no. Don't worry. I know it's kind of complicated, so I won't ask. So who has heard of synchronous versus or synchronous programming? Okay, okay, you've heard, right? Okay, okay, cool, cool, awesome. So, okay, what's it? Just kidding. Okay, so synchronous, what does it mean? Synchronous means you have to wait for something in coding. Synchronous means while you're waiting, you do something. Right, so let's take example of okay, everyone of you guys have ordered food. You wait for your food, you sit there, you stare at the wall. If you want to go on to other languages, Python or JavaScript or Java, but mostly if trying to use Node, because it relies heavily on asynchronous tasks. Okay, so let's again, synchronous code is blocking code. Okay, let me just futures. Okay, I'll talk about that after this meme. Meme. So so let's use a package called Dio. So how do we install packages? Because packages are one of the most fundamental parts when using Flutter. Okay, because Flutter possible and it enriches the ecosystem through its packages. So where do we find these packages? Have you heard of PopDev?
Yes.
Yeah. Now this is a place where all your packages hang out. They have a good time. They part. Dio package. So you can see that it's here. If you click on the description, you can see that Dio is a very powerful HTTP networking package for Flutter. So if we write our HTTP request code in Dart, it'll be this long, but in Dio it's this long. Okay, I guess that is you need. Click on terminal and click on new. Look at the terminal tab and you click on new terminal. Session. Okay. Just expand this a bit because we don't need the terminal yet, or we don't need the emulator yet. So file, sorry, again, terminal, new terminal. Okay, all good, right? Okay, so now in your terminal, what you write is flutter pub. So we go to pub.dev, you add diode. So flutter, you tell, hey flutter, go to pub and add diode. Makes sense, right? Easy enough. That's why. Right. So Flutter commands are quite easy. They're almost like your spoken language. That's why Flutter is very user friendly in terms of not just UI but also in terms of commands. So Flutter pop add diode. Now, okay, you can see I've added. It's quite fast. Cool. And now, where does this package go? Where does it live? How can I track what dependencies I'm using inside my app? Any guesses where I can track my dependencies? In your pub.spec YAML. Fun, that's the full form of YAML. I don't know why, but yeah, it's fun. Go to your pub.spec YAML. Now, if you get YAML, you scroll down. Under dependencies, you'll have your dio dependency added. Okay. Sekejap Fi. Sekejap, ada install ni. Kamu long dah? Oh, ni. Flutter, yeah. It, yeah, need that. Okay. Okay, sure. Yeah, this function here. Yeah, this state. Remember to override it. Okay, override it. This annotation. I'll show you the importance of init state. Install to install to. Init state means initialize state. That's what it means. Initialize the state. So you have to create state and you have to initialize state. Yeah, that's it. What's that? Yes. Okay, everyone, let's just move on. Huh? So now let's get to the exciting part. If you're going to work as a developer long term, just know that your life will be spent mostly calling or building APIs. Okay, so this part is very important. So as a front-end developer myself, around 20, oh no, sorry, not 20, I mean, around 90 to 80% is spent just calling APIs. Okay, so this part here is where you need to master. Okay, now futures, let's go back to futures. So what are futures in Dart? So future in Dart is where you can perform asynchronous tasks. Okay, so what it does is, let me just show you example. So in order to use future, we need to use again Dio, right? So final, and I'll just write here maybe a meme response equal to Dio. Click on Dio, and then you don't have to do anything, but you can just enter. Okay, code completion will appear and enter, and it will automatically import your Dio package for you. As you can see here, it automatically imports your Dio package. So again, let's reiterate Dio and press enter. Dio. Everyone's done? Okay, when you're done with Dio. Okay. So okay, Dio dot get command. Dio dot get command. Okay. So Dio is actually a constructor. When you call this constructor, it creates an instance of a class. We'll go into detail later. You don't need to worry so much about classes right now. Just know that Dio is a constructor call. It creates an instance or object of Dio, and that's where you can use get. So what does get do? So have you heard about HTTP methods? You have heard of get, put, post, right? So get is for getting data. Post is if you're creating new data. Yeah, it doesn't need introduction. So okay. So now get. What does get take? So get is a function. Okay, it takes one argument, and what is that? It requires the URL or the API from which to fetch data from. So we're going to use the meme API I just showed you earlier. So let's go here again. So we have API. I'm just going to copy this. and you can just paste it here itself. So meme.api is what? A string, right? So I need to put inside double quotes. So okay, copy this code now. Yeah, it's meme-api. Can we just expand this for a bit so you can properly see? Yeah. Final memes, res equal to dio, get, and HTTPS. It's just your regular HTML call. Everyone has their DO imported, right?
Yes.
DO is imported, and you've written this code. Yeah, done. Okay, cool. Okay.
So when after packaging last night, I import here the thing that was showing. It's not showing there.
Is that showing as in?
Not sure this is like this is not
We just import statement here.
I have to like everything on my own in this
Let's use Windows next. Yeah. Just copy this code here. And this DO code here. So you have to import DO package there and your DO code here. Oops. Here. Okay, done number. Yeah. Remember that whenever you use packages, you need to import your package, okay? So what essentially are packages? Does anyone have an idea what are packages? So packages are just like your Lego bricks. So you've heard of Lego, right? Your bricks. So if you need like a certain Lego, a certain color brick, you can just pick out file and place on top of other Lego bricks, right? So that's what packages are. So we have package for like machine learning for Flutter. It has an ML kit. Then you have the package which can make games with Flutter, which is called Flame. Then you have packages for voice processing, where you convert voice to text. That's also a package you can add in Flutter. What else? You also have shaders. Have you heard of shaders? So shaders are mostly used when you're creating games. Shaders actually, it's almost a form of ray tracing. Have you heard of ray tracing, right, in graphics? Whereby it simulates realistic lighting. So shaders can also be used with Flutter now with the recent updates. So that's also package for that. Flutter enable pose detection, right? When you pose detection, it detects your arms, your legs, and when you move, it also tracks each and every part of your arm or legs. It also has facial recognition, facial Yeah, it can recognize faces. Then it also detects that it's a cup, and all of these work offline. Okay. So and you don't need internet connection. So that's what ML-Kit packages for Flutter are. Let me just show you while we're still waiting. Yeah, just show you a few packages here. My favorite package is the Flame package. I think so. I want to create a game in Flutter, which I'm going to share in the Flutter Meghalaya community. So this engine, so you can simulate physics. It has ray tracing, it has shader support, it has texture map support. Then what else you need? It has controller support. You can use controllers, Xbox controller. You can use joystick. Then what else? Yeah, mostly that's it. But there's some good features to get you started on your gaming journey. So yeah. Then what else? We also have the machine learning kit, ML kit. So here's Google ML Kit. You can use Google ML Kit uses TensorFlow. So I guess you've heard of TensorFlow, right? PyTorch, TensorFlow. So yeah. So because TensorFlow is being maintained by Google, so that's why it uses TensorFlow. I think so. PyTorch is being maintained by Meta. I think so. Facebook. Yeah. Okay. So Google ML Kit. So you can see here, right? Barcode scanning, face detection, face mesh detection, image labeling, text recognition. So all of these is possible in your Flutter app. Okay. So that's a short intro. That's why I said PopDev is a really good place. Some popular packages because they have these ratings here. What's some popular packages now? You have your Mac OS UI, your path provider, URL, okay, mostly development, file picker, geolocator, Firebase, and RxDart. Okay, these are a little bit complicated. Yeah, but anyway, I guess you've got an idea of why we need packages in Flutter, so we can extend Flutter's features. We can make it more powerful. Yeah. So anyway, I guess you're done with the code, right?
Yes.
Okay, awesome. So now let's call this. So if you look at this function here, all of this technical terminology here, what it means is it's a function which returns a future. So what's a function in Dart? Okay, let me just show you an example function on Dart. Let's create here, I guess. So in a function, what's the first keyword we need? What's the first type here? The return type, right? So let's just return int. And then what do you have after that? Yeah, function name, right? So I'll just call maybe get sum. And what do we have after that? Awesome, yeah, parentheses. And inside parentheses, what do we have? Parameters, yeah, or arguments, right? So let's call them parameters. So I'll have integer A, integer A and integer B. So this is pretty straightforward, right? So and then your code, your logic lives inside the curly brackets. So we what does it also need? A function? Return, yeah, return statement. So return A and then plus B. So what does this function actually do here?
Taking arguments A and B and
Yeah, awesome, good, exactly. So it's taking A and B. Okay, now it's what it's doing is it's adding them up together and returning the sum. So if I do this part here, for example, I do maybe string. Okay, why does it throw an error? Why does it throw an error here? Oh, it's already here. It's already. So any of you who wants this extension in VS Code, this is called error lens. Okay. So when I'm coding, I find it quite difficult for me to go to the bottom bar here and look at all the problems. So what does it? It catches problems or warnings for you and displays them in the main editor itself. So it becomes quite easy to debug your code. It's called error lens. Okay. Error lens. So anyway, again, I want to hear from your words. Why is this throwing error? Why is it throwing error? Yes, incomparable data. It's because this returns integer, but your function should return string, right? So that's why it's saying, hey, these data types don't match, man. I won't let you go on. So now, how do you correct this? We change this back to a string, or to an integer, sorry. So now how do we execute this function? What do we do? Yes, exactly, right? So as I call you by your name, you call a function by its name, right? So if I call this person maybe, hey Robert, how are you doing? He responds back to me, right? He doesn't respond to the next person, hey, I'm doing this, that'll be weird, right? So similarly in a function, if you call a function, it returns back to the code which is calling that particular function. For example, again, you might have something like, let's just create a void main here, just for example. We have our main function and we have get sum, okay? Get sum, and we pass in B and, 3, 4 and 1. 4 and 1, and then Okay, now this function is being called, right? This is calling this. So this code here, it's calling this particular function. It stores 4 in A and 1 in B. And then it executes this part of the code here. 4 plus 1 is 5. It returns back to the calling function. It returns back here. Right, now I want to do something with a value. How do I do that? Because if I just leave it here, that's it, right? Nothing happens. So I want to print out the value. What do I do? Yeah, store in a variable, right? So let's do that. So let's store in a variable. Or we can say as per return integer, maybe apple. I like apples. I'm going to keep using apples throughout. Okay. So integer apple equal 4 to A plus B. 4 plus 1. It's done, right? Now what does it do? It needs to return the value. Returns back to this portion here. And it gets stored in apple. Now we can either print apple or can maybe if we can print apple, we'll get, what do we get if we print apple? 5. Good, exactly. So now you understand, right? The flow. Waste any more time and get the future. So Dio. Now Dio, what is the return? If you look there, what does the return? Get future, right? So look at the top, at the first keyword there. That's a future. So that's a future, right? So get returns a future. What exactly? What does future mean? So in asynchronous programming, okay, it passes a future to meme.rest. So future says this. Future essentially says, hey, I promise to share the data with you once I finish fetching the data. It's just a promise. It's like saying a promise. It's like a contract, okay? It's like a contract saying, here's a future. And what does that future do? I'm promising to give you that data once I've received that data. So if you print this out, let me just print this out, okay? Print, and then meme.rest. Let's see, what value do we get here? Okay, now it's working. Okay, I haven't run the code yet. My bad. No, I'm running it. No, I'm not running code. Okay, just give me a 2 minutes to get to run the code. So let's see here. Okay. Output. Okay, so now we've run the code. Let's look at our output. Debug console actually. Here, see, it's printing out instance of future. See, it's not printing the actual data. What do you expect when we call an API? What data format do you expect from an API? Again, remember, JSON statum, right? We expect that, right, from an API, but we're getting an instance of future. So we haven't received the data yet. So now, how do we capture that data when it returns? We do this. So memes, okay, memes.rest. So meme rest dot then keyword, and then we have here the results. Let's just write results, and then I'll just create a function here. This is called a callback function, by the way. I'll explain you what a callback function is. Results, and then I print. Thank you. Print, and now I print results. Okay, let's see what happens now. Okay, I think so. This code is a bit confusing, right? Where is this then keyword coming from, and what is results? So then it's called a callback function. This is a callback function. What's a callback? What's a callback? Yeah, reply, exactly. Good. He took the words right from my mouth. Callback means reply. So this meme.rest here will reply when it's completed fetching the data. So how does it do that? So it replies with the results. This is where your data actually lives in. So now if I print this out, let's see. Wait, okay, reloaded. I need to refresh because it's here. Let me just refresh the app again. So you can see now, right? It's printing. See, this post.link. Remember, right? The meme API we had earlier. So this one, oh wait, okay. So this one here, see, post link, right? And then subreddit. Let's go back here to our terminal. So we have post link and we have subreddit. So it is receiving JSON statum, right? So now we have received JSON statum in all of its balding glory. But good, heavy muscles. Okay, so now how do we use this data actually? And what is How is it related to asynchronous programming? If you see here, I might have some other code here. Okay, let's just print out first this. Print, maybe do some calculations. Do some calculations. Okay. And I put this here on top of the code here. So if we don't do asynchronous programming, what happens is it will first run this code, and then run this code, and then run this code, right? So now let me just print out here, coming from asynchronous, async function done. So if you're doing asynchronous, we would see asynchronous function done, and then do some calculations, right? So that's what we expect, right? So now let's run this code here. Okay, refresh. I hard reloaded. see, if you look at the output there, it's like do some calculations, it gets complete first, and then async function done. You see, so what we have here, we have async function done first. So you get the idea, right? So essentially what it does is Dio, hey, I am telling Dio, go to this URL and fetch me some data. So Dio, what does it do? It returns a future saying, hey bro, I got your back, bro. Don't worry, I will show you data once I have all the results. Okay, don't worry, I'll remind you later. And now my code goes on to do something else. It doesn't execute this because this is the then keyword. Then only happens when, as he said, when the backend has replied with some data, right? So this doesn't get executed. This print statement gets executed first. And now once the data has been received from the backend, then this callback function gets executed, and now we have a sync function done with all the results. So our data now is inside the results variable, right? Okay, so let me just show you a meme again. It's like this one here. So this one is that pink guy is Dio, and that green guy is actually me, or the variable, right? So see, it's possible. I'll share the answer with you when I'm done, I promise. It doesn't get the data actually, he gets it later. And what kind of data do we get? So it's either this data. So uncompleted, that's the future. So either we get complete data or we get an error. Okay, so the backend always gives you something. Either it's the data or it's an error. Okay, so that makes sense, right? I hope it's not too confusing. Just show this. Actually, it's a GIF. Okay, it's a GIF actually. Yeah, I hope it's not too overwhelming, right? I hope you're not having a headache over this. Okay, sure. So again, you're clear with asynchronous programming, right? It's very easy, right? Easy. Come on, yes or no? Yes, okay. Do you want me to go back again, reiterate again? Yeah. Almost done. So okay, now let's render this. At least let's just try to render at least an image on the screen. Okay, can you try and copy this? It's done with this memes that print results, and then we store this results. Let's just do this first. Yeah, just print out the results first. Let's see if you get or not the results. Either from the API or not. And we'll just render one image on the screen, but as long as you understood API and asynchronous, I'm happy. Because that's what you'll be doing for the rest of your life as developers. Most of the time. Unless you go for machine learning. Or for robotics. Maybe almost done. Just rendering an image. Yeah. How long we have 15? We're done. Yeah, 15 anyway. Yeah. Look at your debug console, okay? Just look at debug console. If you see Reddit or post link, then you have received the JSON from the API. Okay. But I hope you're having fun learning to some extent. Just need a function just inside the init state itself. So this code lives inside the init state. So it's like, yeah, just that. Yeah, just that. Then you have to use memres.then. Almost there. Almost there. You just need to store the results in a variable, pass that variable to your UI, generate the image. Done. We're done. Palong Jofima. Next time set up Hanama. Sejak dua group Flutter Meghalaya. Sejak itu namanya set up Hanikang. Yeah, you have to run that, yeah. Yeah. Just get back. Now, Okay, so let's cover this up and get this done. Right. So now I think so you've gotten your JSON, right? Everyone's gotten JSON, right? Okay, now we need to store this JSON inside our a variable. So let's go to my app state, and then you create a variable called var meme data. Okay, equal, just put it there itself, meme data. And then here in the results itself, you store the meme data equal to results. Yeah. So create a variable called meme data, and inside your then statement, you assign the results which you've gotten from your API into the meme data. Store that there. Okay, right. Okay. And if you've done that, inside our container, inside our placeholder here, okay, let's just, okay, you first do that, okay? create your variable meme data and store your results inside meme data. Now in your build function, this is where your UI gets rendered. We create a container for this one. So container, and then here. And now inside your container, you have a child. And inside child, what you do is you get another widget called image.network. And inside your network, now we're going to access this part here. Because if you look at here, if you look at URL, this is actually where you're going to get your image from. So if I copy this URL here, and I paste it somewhere here. Oh, okay, wait, sorry. Because it's a string, actually I should remove the double quotes. Now if I paste it there, you can see that's fetching the image, right? So now we're going to render that image in our app by using that URL, by using this one URL. So now how do I access this value here? Because HTTPS is a value, right? How do I access this value from our JSON? What do I use? Come on. See, this is key value pair again, as I mentioned before, right? This is a value. Yeah, use a key. What is the key name? What is the key called? URL, exactly. So now, let's just meme.data.url. It's not going to work because, because we need to do a check first. Because initially, you see here meme data is empty and it's trying to get URL from an empty object. Okay, so it throws an error. Obviously, you cannot render something which is not there, right? So it throws an error. So now we need to check first. Do this. If meme data dot is dot empty. Okay, let me just define this here. Dot. It should be an empty here. Okay, define data type. Unless I define data type, then it will print. If I use a map, okay, let's not do that. Okay, let's just put this like this, equal to null. Okay, if meme.data is equal to null, then you return, I don't know, maybe return container whose color is colors.background or colors.blue or maybe green. Okay. If you see Flutter, right, everything is a widget. So container, you can add this color by using color, and you can choose your colors from the colors enum here, colors.green. So now this says that if meme data is empty, you return container green. Otherwise, you render the image data, right? So let's see how it works. Okay, it's not okay. Wait, it's not. Yeah, so now it's green. Why? Because meme data it's empty. But here you've added the results, right? Right, you've added results, so it should render the results, right? Why is that not happening? Remember, I said set state, so it's not refreshing your UI. So even though meme data has your JSON, it's not refreshing your UI to reflect the changes. So what do we need to use for that to refresh UI? What do you use that to refresh? Remember, what do you use? Set state. Yes, exactly. So we need to wrap this inside our set state. So set state. And you have this function here, we just click on that. We move our meme data into our set state here. So now let's see the results. Oh, wait. Has no instance getter. Wait, okay. Response dynamic has no instance getter. Oh, okay, sorry. I'm using the JavaScript syntax here. Actually, Dart. How do we access keys in Dart? Remember I said earlier? Come on, inside those.
Oh, square brackets.
Yeah, square brackets, exactly. I'm confused, learned so much languages, I'm going mad. Okay, so URL, yeah. So now let's see, can we get that? Let's refresh our app. Okay, has no instance method. Receiver instance, okay. Now this is time to portal us into debug. So how do we debug? Let's just print out our meme data first. Let's see if it actually has the results. So we just put data here, let's see. Okay, image and network, it should work now. It should work, definitely. Yeah, now it's working. So it should be meme.data. So your data actually has your JSON. Okay, so I thought it would return automatically, but Reddit returns its data in a certain way. So it's like meme.data. Data is your JSON. And inside JSON, again, let's see. So inside your data, it's this JSON here, and you use URL. and you're fetching using this image URL here. So what's it doing again? Let me just show again. So inside image.network, so this is a widget which says go to the internet and fetch images from this particular URL. So data.url. So okay, easy, right? Let's try that again. Try with set state. Just show that. Oops, sorry. Try with set state. And then remember to meme.data.data and then your URL. Key. Data is your JSON. Data is actually your JSON. This is a very far cry away from what I planned. Yeah, but at least it's a good start. Give me a thumbs up if any of you got this working, okay? Yours is working? Working? Oh, still doing? Okay. Remember, okay, meme data is null initially. And inside you build, you check. If it's null, you render a container, whatever color. I will discuss again the flow once you view. I will discuss again how it works. And then we'll close off the session.
After 3 months,
You can first get the things that I'm So you get a random meme every time you call it API. You can create a routing indicator. Yeah, so yeah, you can create routing. So why does it make us not create routing indicator? It goes in the network. Once it receives data, it will show the name. Yeah. So, but really, you are just simple focus indicator. They just show you again. So some of you are asking, right? Okay. So I guess everyone's done, right? It's working, right? Okay, next time, please join our Flutter Meghalaya group. Yeah, we're going to have hackathons and some more hands-on sessions like these, but let's be more prepared next time so we can move on to the more advanced stuff, okay? But I had just one more request from one of these guys. They're saying, what if I don't want to show that green color background? What if I want to show something more practical like a loading indicator? So that's quite easy with Flutter because we just show you and we're going to end this. So instead of container here, what we could do is we have this circular progress indicator. And that's it. Just add that here and then just reload the app. So you have this big one, right? And it loads the meme. We can style it. We can make it consistent. We can make it like, let me just show you again. If I add let's add a container on top of this. So how do we add a container? We click on this widget here and this light bulb and we wrap with the widget and we call container. Now, why do we need container? I need to contain the circular indicator within a certain width and height because right now it's taking the entire screen viewport, right? So let's just add a width and height here and with that one. So width, let's just give it maybe around 100 and height. This will be 100 and this should be a child actually, a child of the container. Yeah, and that's it. Okay, let's reload the app. Still not happening. Why? Too much there, I guess. With container, just do trading view here. Okay, let's just add a center container here, center. Okay, center, and then let me reload the app again. There, you can see, right? That loading indicator. Okay, so that's actually how you do that. Indicator, and then there you have the meme. Yeah. So, this goes beyond this simple app here. Whenever you're creating a front-end application, if you need a loading indicator, I mostly use this kind of technique. If maybe a list is still empty, you show that loading indicator, and once it has data, you show your data. Okay, right? So again, see why return? Why is it working again? Because see, if it's a return statement, right? So if this app here is null, you return this container. So this code here doesn't get executed anymore because why? You're returning this back to who's ever calling. So this code here doesn't get executed. That's why you have that circle indicator. But if you have data, this code will not run, but actually return your container. Okay. Anyway, thank you so much to all of you who have joined this session. Please leave a feedback. We'll be sending a feedback form on the Flutter Meghalaya group. And if you have any issues or maybe you've not understand a particular subsection, please let us know, okay? And I'll let you know when maybe in the future we could have a version 2 of this where we actually complete the app, which I promised. Because I had mine where we can filter out SpongeBob or cats or whatever memes you want. So anyway, thank you. And that's it.